Hi, I'm Mr. Richmond, and this is your Unit 8.3 lesson summary. In Unit 8.3, we'll be learning how to calculate an IQR, which is the interquartile range, and how we can use that to identify outliers in a data set. So what is interquartile range? Interquartile range, which we abbreviate for as IQR, measures how far data is spread out from the median. So we use the median as our measure of kind of where the center of the data is. You calculate it by taking your Q3, your quartile 3, minus your Q1, which is quartile 1. So it'll be a single number, 5, 10, 20, etc. Outlier is a data value that is significantly greater or less than other data values in a data set. And it's important for us to find that because we want to eliminate or remove data that is potentially an outlier because it might mess up the average. If I was asking the average number of pets, I'm trying to get an idea of how many pets people have at home. And I might go around the classroom and quite a few have 0, some maybe have 1 or 2, maybe even some are 3, and then I have one student who has 67 pets. Maybe they live on a farm, maybe their mom or dad are vets and they take care of the animals at home, and that will bring our average or mean way up, well, a way higher value. So I might say that on average our kids in our class have 21 pets or something like that. That's not really an accurate average anymore. The 87 or the 113, whatever the number is, of pets that the one student have is an outlier. It's affecting the other data. And so we would remove that. What we're going to look at in section 8.3 is how you can tell if something's an outlier, specifically other than the fact that it just looks a little bigger or smaller than everything else. We'll have an actual systematic way of determining whether something's an outlier. And then in 8.4 I'll show you how to do it a different way using the mean. So today we'll focus on doing that with the median and the interquartile range. So how is it an outlier using this method? Well, you have to first find a lower fence and an upper fence. So a lower fence is Q1 minus 1.5 times the IQR. Anything below that, any data values below that would be considered an outlier. They're too far away from the median. The upper fence would be Q3 plus 1.5 times your IQR. Anything above that would be an outlier because they're just too far away from the median. So let's try that now with some data. So this is the data that represents calorie count of 9 different commercial breakfast sandwiches. That'd be like your Egg McMuffin from McDonald's, something like that. Jack in the Box has a breakfast sandwich, whatever it is. So we're just looking at what the average calorie count is for one of those sandwiches. So we're going to find the 5-number summary for this data and then identify any outliers. So 5-number summary data would be our minimum, our median, our Q3, forgot one, our min, our Q1, our median, our Q2, our Q3, and our max. So in order for us to find this data, we first need to put the data in order to make that a little easier to find. So let's do that now. So first number, our lowest number seems to be 188. Then 192. Then 198. And again, just a good tip, you notice I'm marking the numbers off as I use them so I don't accidentally use them twice. 201. 203, 212 looks like it's next, then 224, 227, and the only number left is 361, and I should verify that I used all the numbers. I should have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I have them all. And now I'm going to start identifying my median like we taught you in the previous section. So I'm going to find that middle number. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Right down the middle there is my median, which is also known as our Q2. So just to abbreviate it for myself, I'll put it as Q2. So there's my median, 203. My min is my lowest number, 188. My max is my highest number, 361. And now I need to find the Q1 and Q3. And again, those are found by looking at the first half of the data. I'm basically finding a median of the first half of the data. Since I've already used 203, my first median needs to be found from these four numbers. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So my Q1 should be right smack dab in the middle of 192 and 198. So I'll need to find the average of those to figure out what it is. So do that real quick right here. 192 plus 198 divided by 2. Which is 195. And that becomes our Q1. And to find our Q3, I need to find basically the median of the upper half of the data. 1, 1, 2, 2. Right in between these two numbers. That'll be my Q3. So I need to add 224 plus 227 and divide by 2 to find the average of those numbers. Add those together, you get, divided by 2, 225.5. Okay, and I have my 5-number summary. So if we ever ask you for a 5-number summary again, it's going to be your min, your quartiles, your median, and your max. Okay, and this tells me a lot about the data. Obviously, I know where the middle is. I kind of know the high extreme, the low extreme. But I can also now use that to find the outlier, if there is one. So to find the outlier, I need the interquartile range, the IQR. We said that's found by subtracting Q3 from Q1. So 225.5 minus 195. 225 minus 195 would be 30.5. And now I have my interquartile range, which I can then use to find my upper fence and my lower fence for determining an outlier. So lower fence is our Q1, which is 195, minus 1.5 times our IQR of 30.5. And our upper fence is 225.5 plus 1.5 times our IQR. So I'm going to go ahead and work those numbers out real quick. So 195 minus 29 times 1.5. Gives us 149.25. And for the upper quartile, 1.5 times 30.5 plus 225.5 is 271. .25. And so our outliers will be any numbers below 149.25 and any numbers above 271.25. Those are the numbers below my lower fence or above my upper fence. So now I can go back to the data and just look for any that fall in this category. So is there any numbers less than 149? As I look, no. So there's no outliers that were produced from the lower fence. For the upper fence, is there anything above 271? Well, 361 is. Well, that's about it. So what that tells me is 361 is a little too far. It's above that upper fence. It doesn't really fit in with the rest of the data. So now I can say the 361 calorie sandwich is an outlier. Okay? And the way I know it's an outlier is from the math that we just showed here. We found the 5-number summary, we found the IQR, we used it to identify a lower and upper fence, And we were able to show that 361 is too far away from the median by these standards to be a normal data set, and so it is in fact an outlier. And some data sets have no outliers, some can have multiple outliers, some can be above the upper fence, some can be below the lower. It just really depends on the data. But now you know the process for finding an outlier, and in the next session we'll show you how to do this just another way. So thank you and good luck.